whenever we talk about Indaba, we talk about a proudly Pan-African Africa's Travel Indaba. How was this year's installment of Africa's Travel Indaba in terms of being proudly Pan-African? If you could just cite some few examples for us.
Thank you, Tanya. Afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is well and still enjoying Africa's Travel Indaba. I think the key thing for me, and it's important because it's our positioning for Indaba, that it is a Pan-African show, is tracking that growth of participation from our African brothers and sisters in the continent. So there was also growth in terms of participation when we compare the number of countries that are represented on the floor from the continent, with, I think we're sitting at over 9% with additional countries that actually joined Indaba in the current year. What's key for me, we always emphasize the growth, but it's also important that we maintain those that come and invest in Indaba over and over, because they're also important, and not just focus on the new entrants. It then means that we just need to grow the base for African brothers and sisters that are participating in Indaba, because the global markets and the buyers, they come here to experience Africa under one roof and what we have to offer. So we can't do that without participation from the continent. We also had, I've walked the floor as well, I've been to some of the stand, and just engaging with the tourism authorities in the continent. There's also been opportunities for us to grow and make sure that tourism actually plays a vital role, not only in South Africa, but in the continent, because we can collectively grow the African continent through the tourism chain. So how are the numbers? I had the pleasure this morning to get an update from the team, and we are looking good. We've exceeded our targets, but we've also grown in terms of the performance from the previous financial year. We all know that from a trade show perspective, people come to have quality buyers, but that mix between your exhibitors and buyers is important. Because I always say that Indaba is where economics that we all learn at school comes to play, where your demand side has to be matched by your supply side. So from a numbers perspective, from exhibitors, we've grown over 23%. We're currently sitting at just over 1,200 exhibitors on the stand. And the important thing for me is that we also grew from our hosted buyer perspective, with just over 9% when you compare it to the previous financial year. But the critical thing for this year has also been the number of meetings. Our exhibitors and our buyers come to Indaba so that they can trade. There is also positive growth in the meeting space. Last year we were sitting at just under 23,000. We are now sitting at 24 meetings and counting. And I need to emphasize and counting, because it is the last day, and the insights that we've been getting on the floor from all our delegates is that they've been busy. So business has been good, and that for me is a measure of success.
Thank you. Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. From a province perspective, we are very excited to see the last day of ATI still being so busy, still being so vibrant. And we're just reflecting that, actually, I think you'd agree with us that if we're talking about post-COVID recovery, when it comes to this Africa's biggest trade show, this is truly the recovery we've been looking for. We had good growth in 2022, and 2023, of course, was a better performance from the previous year. But 2024, just from the ambience, from the side events, from the networking, the meetings, how we've rolled out the red carpet really as a province to make sure that you have an exceptional experience, a memorable experience. I think really we do have our Indaba back. I think we can confidently say we have truly recovered. And you can see, of course, from the numbers that were shared by the CEO, that really we are well on an even better growth path come next year. So for us as KZN, Indaba is really a prime event, a tourism event that not only gets us an opportunity to showcase our offerings as a province, and in terms of the meetings that we have, the pre and post tours that we host for the buyers, not only from our source markets, but also from emerging markets. It's also an opportunity to showcase just how much of a global player we are when it comes to major business events. And so really we demonstrate it by the various offerings from the venue side, and John of course will talk more from a venue perspective, to really how the province and the city show up. And so we look forward to hosting Indaba 2025, and we know it's going to be bigger and better. And we really thank South African Tourism, of course the owner and the coordinator of Indaba, and making our job that much easier as the host province to really deliver a memorable event. So we're really pleased.
Thank you very much, Madam Program Director. Exactly. It goes without saying that we're walking the talk. We are the warmest place to be, and indeed, with the sun, everything has been warm. The people have been warm, and we thank you for also bringing that warm, attitude to actually make this whole combination so powerful. Now, from a city's perspective, we are very excited that for the past days, not only from the start of Indaba, but also starting from the launch, to say, all right, in April we are launching, and indeed we are having all these visitors that are going to be coming to Durban. So we rolled up our sleeves, not that they are not rolled up, regularly, but with this, because it's important, people that were coming to us, we were just ready, making sure that the stay is memorable, everything is vibrant, we become South Africa's playground, and you actually see it, and it became exactly that, with the ambience that has been happening in and around Durban from touchdown at the airport. I'm sure most of you that were arriving, you were welcome, the Durban way, from the time you touched down the airport throughout your stay. And as you prepare, we're coming to the wrap, we promise you that the packaging and that we're going to be doing for the visitors, as you package the destination from what you saw, what you experienced, is indeed what they will find, because we continue to be on the move. It's not just about Indaba coming, but it's also about for the visitors, but you having been the eyes and the mouthpiece as media to tell the positive story about Durban and how we were able to stage Indaba from different angles. We remain open for business, and we remain the premium destination for tourism in as far as leisure as well as business. We have shown it right here through Indaba as success. And thank you to the big partners that we've worked tirelessly together, and indeed we promise that we'll continue to work tirelessly to deliver another bigger project for next year, because it's all about Africa, it's all about exploring the unlimited possibilities and telling our story as the African continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and everyone, welcome to the Durban ICC Albert Inkosi Luthuli complex. For me, it has been extremely exciting, and I can only talk when the end consumer tells us how the event is. And there's a consumer that I spoke to about an hour ago. They have a representation around the world of 784 partners, Pan-African as well as Indian Ocean. And the words that he said, I asked him, tell me frankly, how was Indaba? He told me clearly, he said, amazing. Indaba is 100% backed. Possibly the busiest Indaba I've ever attended, and he's come for 25 Indabas. And the comments that we've been getting on the floor is people saying how this is probably the best Indaba they've had for the last 10 years. And I don't think you need anything to show you to see the buzz that there is, to see the excitement there has been. But for us, it's been particularly important to create an Indaba that is sustainable. Sustainability has been our biggest goal this year, and sustainability starts from the humans. So the first key things we did is get young students from Durban University of Technology. We looked at young chefs from around KZN. We've brought them, they've been here for the last 1 month, understanding, creating meals and creating experiences. And after Indaba, we will present them with certification to show them that they've actually done something amazing in their lives and create a platform for their growth. For us, that's the first step of sustainability of eventing. Now, business eventing is key for us, and it's key for the city. So when we look at Indaba, it is probably the best blueprint for us as a center to be able to roll out. We go out to Germany. My CEO is in Germany right now, in Frankfurt, trying to get events to come to Durban. we go to Spain. But we look at Indaba as our premier event. It's an event that has roots in KZN, it's an event that has roots in Durban, and it's an event that we hope we'll be able to keep here for years to come. Talking to buyers from the United States, from New Zealand yesterday, I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with New Zealand and Australian buyers. They were absolutely fascinated, and I give a lot of thanks first to the CEO of South African Tourism, to our partner here, KZN Tourism, and our main host. We're not the host, we're just the venue, but our host, Winnie, for what she's done to really showcase restaurants, showcase products. Hotels have been full, and for me, that is what Durban needs. That's what the country needs, a positivity that it needs. We could not say it better. We recruited about 300 young people for safety and security, but not only safety and security, and cleaning up, and young professional men and women, and they've done a phenomenal job, not around the center, but around Durban. And for me, that is a project that the city has started, and it has longevity. It's a pilot project, and I think it will bring back Durban, bring back the beaches, keep them safe, keep them clean, and create a better future, not only for Indaba, but for the citizens of Durban.
Talking about Durban, Ms. Mduma, I'm sure you've got numbers for us. How have we done from an economic perspective?
All right. We're very excited, Madam Program Director, at this point that we're finding ourselves to declare that our projections were conservative. I think from the backdrop, preliminary by CEO in terms of the performance holistically, the attendance of the countries, the exhibitors. Now, from a city's perspective, the socio-economic impact thereof, because Indaba it actually triggers many economic activities. There's been a lot of circular flow of income the past few days, and even from the preparations in various verticals, from the infrastructure to the restaurants, to the accommodation, to the shuttle services, and many other activities that have been exploited. Now, in terms of the performance, where we are at, the direct impact to the city in relation to the spend, we have over 200, this is just the past 4 days, 226 million into the city that has actually come into the economy. Now, the multiplier effect thereof, meaning the inducement that has been triggered by having this event, the spillover effect to the other areas, whether it's township products, whether it's rural products, any other product that is out of the city center, has been over 333 million in terms of that multiplier effect. Now, the GDP of the city, in as far as the contribution of this Indaba to the tourism aspect, is over 500 million. So we are excited, Program Director, in terms of what we have achieved, and it is evident through the movement of people being employed, either the youth and other additional staff for the products, restaurants, shuttle services that were being explored from the Indaba delegates and everybody else that came for Indaba as they were accessing those services.
CEO of South African Tourism, we know the importance of the smaller businesses for this trade show. We know the emphasis that is put on for us to be able to continue to empower the SMMEs. Are you able to please let us know what the participation of the SMMEs are? And of course, I would like to also invite the provinces, should you wish to add, in terms of those numbers.
Very important. We know that our travelers are looking for diverse tourism offerings. We also know, particularly as South Africa, that we've got a high repeater rate. So they're always saying, what's new? What else do you have to offer? And that's where our SMMEs come in. So from a national perspective, we've got 120 SMMEs. There is on the floor a section for SMMEs that are fully funded by the Department of Tourism via the Tourism Incentive Program. And I think it's critical, and I know that the number of the actual SMEs that are present at Indaba is more than that, and I know my colleagues will touch on it. But I wanted just to link to what Unile was saying around the economic impact of Indaba. 500 million, in the last few days. It means there is an opportunity for everyone in the value chain to benefit from that. So it will be a missed opportunity if we don't take our SMEs along.
Ms. Makwakwa?
Thanks. In fact, I'm reflecting, when you asked the earlier question around the value. When you talk SMEs, and because as government, of course, very critical to us promoting the destination and ensuring that we increase those international numbers, very important for us to make sure that the small businesses benefit. Not only do they benefit, but they really play in the mainstream and not on the periphery. But if you really look at the kind of investment government normally has to make, we have what we call an access to market program, for instance, at Tourism KZN. And that program is part of an incubation program that lasts 2 years, where we train and have targeted business interventions from a training point of view. And when a small business is ready to go to market and market their offerings, we then take them globally. But because, of course, of constraints, budgetary constraints, each international platform we manage about 2 SMEs. So in a given year, perhaps we can manage about 10 to 12 SMEs. What Indaba does, it brings everyone to those SMEs. And so that value is really massive. And so in terms of those that are at the Tourism KZN stand, it's 15 out of our incubation program. That has about 101 SMEs. But remember, it's those that we are giving exposure to Indaba, and then of course other shows. And then over and above that, I think we really can add from a Durban tourism point of view, every other province in their stand, they have a program for small businesses. So if you really look holistically over the 4 days, how many small businesses would normally not have this access to international buyers? It's a massive contribution. And of course, we don't only do that, we also then, from a procurement point of view, so whether, for instance, our pre and post tours, we have procurement of tour operating companies that would take our buyers around. And we are very clear that the small guys need to get that opportunity. So that they not only, of course, get to actually benefit economically, but through experience they get to grow their business and understand better what the buyers are looking for. So it's really massive, the impact of Indaba on small businesses.
Ms. Makwakwa would like to take around Indaba being the permanent home.
I think we can safely say everyone really, when they think of Indaba, they think of Durban. And really, if you look at global trends, world-travel market is in London, has always been in London. As a country, if you look again, Meetings Africa, we all know that Meetings Africa, everyone goes to Joburg. Indaba, everyone comes to Durban. So why fix what's not broken? So, we do appreciate that SAT has their processes, and it's one of those things that, we are hoping, as a country, we always have to take a sit back and say, okay, is this working? Is it working like this? At some point, I think SAT will have a conversation internally to say, should we be asking provinces to bid? Or we should just say, everyone has a piece of the action. The TPCSA has an event that is now, it looks like we're always going to be going to Sun City, for instance. And so you have another province benefiting from that. I think it links back to that issue to say, we have events that are not just Indaba. So how does everyone benefit without feeling they are left out? And so if you are intentional about that, we won't have a province that says you always forget about us, because through the calendar year, everyone would have benefited. And of course, we get to then justify why Indaba must be there.